Hello, and welcome, my friends, to the next video in the Create Better Content series, where I show you how to tap into your creativity so that you can stay consistent with your marketing and reach more customers. My name is Penny, and I'm going to guide you through this content development process to teach you to create engaging content for social media, email sequences, sales messages, all of those things that we do to reach our qualified customers. And if you want to learn more about creativity and how this can help you develop your content marketing plans, I would love to see you hit that button below and subscribe to this channel. And below in the links in the description box, there are links. The first one, one of them that you're going to see is for the content prompt playbook. This is for those of you who are struggling to figure out what to post. And I totally get that, because that is a big thing that business owners are having to deal with, especially if you're the one that's managing all of the marketing. And then you get really confused and you end up wasting hours, and then you end up posting nothing. So when you download this playbook, it gives you a step-by-step guide to teach you how to talk to ChatGPT so that it gets what you need so that you can write better and more effective marketing messages. Another link you're going to see is that you can join us in the Marketing Strategy Collective program. This is my group program. We get together on Patreon, but we also meet once a month on a live Zoom call. And I think that that is where the magic happens, because that is that supportive group online space. This is your opportunity to talk through struggles that you're having, but I'm also, throughout the month, we are training. You're getting reskilled. You are learning content and marketing strategy to help you with your business. So you see the links below. You know what to do to learn more. All right, so today's video, let's dive into this topic. Let's keep going with SEO. But what I want to focus on today is I want to talk about this thing that I think is a little intimidating, especially to small business owners, the idea of keywords. And you've probably heard people talk about keywords, and when you're like, well, what do I do about keywords? And they say, well, you need to do a keyword search. And then you start looking up these tools, and the next thing you know, all you're seeing is like $99 a month subscriptions, and then there's charts and graphs and tons of data, and it just feels like someone's speaking another language to you. And so you're like, nope, not going to do it. Not doing it, not interested, don't want to know it. But here's the good news. I get that that's all out there. And when you are ready to start reskilling and understanding really deep down into what SEO does, by all means, look into one of those tools. But the flip side of it is, if you are just getting started and you're just starting to do some SEO work for your business and starting to understand it, you really don't need all of those fancy, expensive tools just to find right keywords for your business. What you do need to do is to give yourself some time to do this, and spends that time having curiosity, is a good word for it, observation, and a willingness to think like your customers. So let's get through this today. Let's talk about this, because I want you to know how you can brainstorm and you can find and you can uncover high quality keywords, the kind that are going to help you get found organically, without a lot of technology and a lot of jargon and all that stuff that's going to overwhelm you. So let's get into this today. Let's talk about this. And why do these keywords even matter? Why do people keep bringing up the idea of keywords? So let's start here. Why do they even matter in 2025? Because now when we're talking about keywords and SEO, it's not about gaming Google. It's about understanding what a person, a real live human being on the other end of that phone, on the other end of that laptop, is looking for. What are they searching for? What are they saying that they need help with? And then the keywords that we use with our marketing is going to help us show up in those searches. So the keywords are important because this is how real human beings are describing what they're looking for. Google's entire job, this whole algorithm that it has, its job is to connect that person who's running that search with the most relevant content. And if you're using the words that they use, you're the content that shows up. So think about the keywords like a bridge between how people search and how you show up. So if people are searching, that's the very beginning of the bridge, and then how you show up is the end result. The bridge gets us there, right? So you see the analogy here? Because the goal isn't about just, stuffing keywords into your site with random phrases. It's about turning your content into the language, into the words, into the keywords that your customers are already saying, they're already speaking, they're already searching for. Okay, so how do we get started here with something like this without spending, tons and tons of money? We start with Google itself. You start with opening up your laptop, pulling up Google, and you say to yourself, this is the easiest keyword tool on the planet. Google's own search bar. That's exactly what it's there for. And here's what you do. You go to Google, and then at the very on your search bar, you start typing a phrase that your customers would use. Life coach for career change or something like that. But don't hit enter. Just watch what pops up. What's going to happen is this thing called autocomplete. Autocomplete is suggestions. It's recommendations. It's Google literally telling you what real people are searching for. So if you said something like life coach for career change, it could be life coach for career change after corporation, life coach for career change after your 50s. It's like that kind of stuff. And when we get real specific like that, these become keyword opportunities for us to utilize. We use them in our website. We use them in our social media posts. We use them, in our blog posts and our videos, like what I'm doing right now. And I want you to look for patterns. I want you to look for these patterns. What words keep showing up? Is it become location oriented? Like these are the best things in the Orlando area. Orlando may become then your keyword. Is it specific to materials? Like maybe it's something that you're making. You're an Etsy store, or maybe you sell something like dining room tables. So maybe solid wood would become one of your top keywords because it's important for people who are looking for dining room tables to have solid wood. So do you see what I mean? These are the clues that people are looking for. This is what matters to your customers. So once we do that, the next thing I want you to do is I want you to stay onto Google, and I want you to scroll down all the way down to the bottom of that Google search. And there's this little section there called People Also Ask. And when we use this thing called People Also Ask, it's like in a box or it's like in a little area, kind of highlighted, the font's changed a little bit, you will very easily see that this is a new section. And this, my friend, is total gold right there. This is a list of common questions that people are typing into Google related to the topic that you initially chose, right? So let's say you have an Etsy store and your thing that you do is you create custom bookshelves, right? Custom bookends, like really cool custom bookends. So the questions might be at the bottom, how much does it cost to build a custom bookends? What kind of wood is best for these bookends? Are these custom bookends gonna, work for bigger books or smaller books? You know what I mean? All of that stuff is questions that people are asking about. So you can use this information to actually inspire and help you create more content. You can answer one of those questions in a blog post. You can present your opinions and your fact-based reasoning in a video. You can even set this up in an FAQ. All of those things with the keywords in them are going to have people finding you because that's the questions that they're asking. Because when you answer these questions directly, what you're doing with this content is you are aligning your content, your answers, your search answers for what Google wants. And it's content that is connected to the search. So when we are able to take this stuff that's connected to people's search and we expand on some of those questions, each time you expand on them, every time that you add a new blog post that answers a question, every time that you create a video that answers a question, all of that stuff, Google's going to see it. And so what's going to happen is it's going to build itself up, and you are going to start to create this content that when people are typing into Google or any search bar for that matter, you have a greater chance of your content being shown as a search result. So before I get into the next SEO keyword step, I do want to make sure to remind you that if this has been helpful for you to help you simplify your SEO, I would love to make sure that you hit that like button and then also hit the subscribe button, because there's a ton of small business marketing training that I am going to be consistently doing, and the more people that see it, the more people that I can help. All right, so let's get back into this today. So the next step I want you to do is, so we've checked Google, the next thing I want you to do is start searching on your social platforms, because this is actually really, really cool. If you've never done this before, I want you to test this out, because this is an interesting keyword exercise that you will go through, because it's going to show you how people actually talk. So there's a few places that you can go. You can go to Pinterest. You can type in a keyword, and the Pinterest search bar is very similar to Google's, where you can type in something and it does an auto-complete too, and it sees and it'll show you what pops up in suggestions. Pinterest, by the way, is not a social media program. It's really a search engine. So it functions in really the same way that Google does. It's just the results are coming back as pins rather than Google, whatever what is the word I'm looking for? I'm drawing a blank on it. The Google search results, right? So use Pinterest. Another thing you can do is try YouTube. Go checking out YouTube video titles and descriptions around your topic. See what comes up. See what topic names come up. See what also comes up. See what related comes up, because Google owns YouTube. So YouTube is going to be set up in a very similar way as Google is within the search. But because YouTube is mostly set up as a social media platform, the way that we're going to be sharing our content on YouTube is to be uploading more YouTube content, versus on Google, it's going to pick up all the type of content. But YouTube will be a good place for you to run research on keywords. And another thing that you can do with your social platforms is go into your Facebook groups. Search for posts with those questions, those keywords that people are asking. And what's going to happen is going to be really fascinating, is that you're going to start to see, you're going to see conversations. You're going to see the keywords popping up because that's what you're searching for, but you're going to see the conversations. You're going to see, the way that people talk. You're going to see their emotions, their phrasing. And that's the stuff that Google loves. Because what's happening with Google is it wants to pick up things the way that natural human beings talk, not robot AI talks. So if you think about it from that place, here's a really good example. Let me explain what I'm talking about here. So let's say that you've got a customer who needs a chair for work, but they're searching for one of those chairs, one of those really high-end expensive chairs, ergonomics. I cannot pronounce that word. Ergonomic. Yeah, I think that's what it is. You know what I mean? Those really expensive chairs that help you. So if you were to put ergonomic work chair, I can't even say it, how many people are actually going to be typing that word in? But they're more likely to say, I need a chair for work that helps my back. Right? So you see the difference? One is like corporate speak, and I can't even say the gosh darn word. And the other one is human speak, the way we speak. I want a chair that I can work in that helps my back. So that's the difference that I'm talking about. And so when we see things like that, especially if you see them on, Facebook groups, or if you see, people talking about that, Think about how you can incorporate those kinds of keywords into your content, into your website, into all the things where you're putting your keywords into. Okay, so the next thing I want you to do is, once you get all of these keywords together, I want you to kind of organize it, and I also want you to connect ideas to it. So by now that you've been searching Google, you've searched maybe Pinterest, you've searched YouTube, you looked at the people also ask stuff. I want you to think about how you can look about this, set this up, if like a breakdown. Like, there's the main keyword, which are your broad topics. And then you've got supporting keywords, the long tail keywords. And then you get questions from that people ask or social media post. And then what's going to happen is, from all that, then we can create some content ideas and how you're going to use them. So let's see how this works. All right, so let's talk about this. All right, so let's say, for the sake of saying that our example is, we have a furniture store and we sell handmade wood furniture. Okay, so our main keyword would be handmade wood furniture, obviously, right? Because that's what we're doing. We're selling, that's what we're selling. So that's what our main keyword is. So what I meant by supporting, we would put things like solid oak furniture, custom farmhouse tables, local furniture maker, that kind of stuff. So they're all supporting the idea of handmade wood furniture, but they're bringing in and incorporating other types of phrases and keywords that people would be typing in. And then we could look down below at the people ask questions, and we could see a question that says, is handmade furniture better quality? So then that would give us, the next step would be our content ideas. What we could say, we could do a blog post. In the blog post, we could do 5 signs that your furniture was actually handmade. And we can make sure that the tagline is in there, because handmade furniture is better quality. We could do something like that. And so when we do things like that, we don't just get a bunch of keywords. We think about how we're going to support them with other related phrases. Is there a question that's coming up around that we know that our customers are asking? And how can we incorporate that keyword and those supporting phrases into content? That's how SEO works. That's how this works to get people from Google to your website to becoming a customer. Because that's how SEO and content strategy work hand in hand. And as I went through this today, you could see you do not need expensive software. You do not need to do a whole data insight analytical dashboard. You just need to spend some time listening. Spend some time on Google and really paying attention. Look at these social conversations that you're seeing on the platforms. Think about what your customers are saying. Because your best keywords are right here. They're not hidden. They're right here in plain sight for you. And when you start creating your content using these words, using these phrases, using their questions to create content, it's not that you're just going to get found by Google, that they're going to begin to understand who your business is, how your business can help them, how your service or product can solve their challenges. And that, my friend, is what good SEO does. So thank you so much for joining me today. If this episode is giving you ideas to start learning new skills for your marketing, I would love to see you hit that like button and then hit the share button and share this with another business owner. And if you want some step-by-step process to develop an SEO marketing strategy, this month in the Marketing Strategy Collective, we are doing just that. And in your workbook, you are going to get the tools and prompts to help you build your SEO strategy. If you want to take this further and join us inside the Marketing Strategy Collective, if you want to learn how to take those ideas and turn these into a content plan that actually drives sales, the link is below so you can check it out. Because you are magnificent, my friend. And let me be the first to say, I'm proud of you. Until next time.